Welcome back, everybody. Another episode of the Expert Trader podcast series sponsored by the FX Summit. If you haven't already grabbed your tickets, go ahead to the link below and grab your tickets. Andy, welcome back to the Expert Trader podcast.
Dude, thanks for having me, man. I'm
So
glad to be here.
we're doing a late night podcast, y'all. I got a drink in my hand. I'm hanging out with Andy. He's got a really exquisite bar behind him. So Andy, walk us through what's been new in your world since we last talked on the podcast. That was like 6-7 months ago.
Wow, yeah. Man, everything. Because when you and I first had talked, I wasn't verified. So that's happened.
Congratulations.
Finally verified. I wasn't even in what I would call like the trader circle, so to speak. I was still kind of feeling my way out a little bit. So man, a lot's changed, to be honest, a ton. I'm more in the groove. The community's grown a lot. I think our community's pushing between Telegram, Discord. We're close to almost 2,200 people now. I'm speaking at the summit, which is huge. If when you first interviewed me, if you'd have told me I'd have been speaking at an event like that, I'd have laughed at you. So that's changed, but all for the good. Basically now it's just strictly mentoring, still trading. Did a ton of traveling. So we did a lot of the retreats that you've seen me do where we just rent random Airbnbs and then invite people to them. So that's been crazy. I think last year we knocked out 12 of those events. So, I mean, you're talking about getting a random Airbnb and having, 20 to 40 people coming and staying with you for 4 to 5 days. And
That's really
trading.
unique. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. It's something that I felt was needed kind of in the trading community, because when I got to actually hang out with Anthony, it kind of showed me how he trades and lives his life. And I was like, man, if you could sit down, like if someone told you, which by no means, because I know the comments will go crazy. I'm not an Elon Musk. I'm not a Bill Gates. I'm none of those people. I'm just using them as an example. But if you could if you could go to a house with Bill Gates, Tim Cook, Elon Musk for 4 to 5 days, wake up with these people, go to bed when they go to bed, eat with them, party with them, lay out in the sun with them, go ride go-karts with them, drive supercars with them, you would absorb a ton of information.
Right.
So I was like, instead of having a class where people just come to it, you teach them and then you leave, why don't we just get these Airbnbs and have tons of people come and stay with us and they get to hang out, they get to learn, they get to meet, like Anthony's been a guest at some of them. So he's came to them and hung out and taught. And I just think it's cool for people to see you in that environment instead of just a classroom environment. And from what I'd heard, not many people were doing that. So I was like, man, that's going to kind of be my niche. Yep. So this will be the second year in a row that we've been doing that. So it's pretty nice.
I had some folks go out to one of your events and they absolutely loved it. Had nothing but good things to say. What do you feel like people take away the most from that live environment?
Yeah, I think they get to see that I'm the same person I am on social media. And we have a lot of glitz and glamour around the Forex community. It's about the cars and the houses and the lifestyle and popping bottles. And I think when they come into town and see that I'm teaching the class and I'm just a normal dude, I'm taking everybody out to dinner. We're having fun. My wife and kids will come and hang out and they see that I'm actually just a real person. It's not hey, let me drive my supercar. And then they come here and I'm like, oh yeah, you're in my class. This is my world. I'm the GOAT. You better listen to me. It's more like, hey, I could learn from you guys too in this class. I'm still a student of the game, so it almost gives a home feel to it,
Yeah, they get to experience it basically. They get to live the trader's lifestyle for a day or two with you. And they're like, okay, you know what? I need this for myself. I guess that inspiration goes a long way.
It does. And they see that, you can just have a normal life. Like the guy you saw in the background, I'm here with me. He started out as one of my students and he's been living with me for a month now. Whoa. And yeah, he's living with us. I've got him a room upstairs and he gets to see what my life's like from the time I wake up till I go to bed. My wife and I will go on dates, he'll tag along with us. We'll play with the kids, help me with yard work. And he was like, man, it's crazy. You just have a normal life. And I'm like, yeah, it's nothing. I don't think it'd be any different if you stayed with any of the other traders. It's, right. Some of them live a crazy life. Some of them go out and party every night, and they do some crazy stuff. But it's like, I think a majority of us just hang out with our families and have fun,
Right. All right. So we talked a whole bunch about trading. we might as well go into what you're doing nowadays in terms of trading. Have you done or have you switched up anything in your trading in these conditions? Are you still looking at markets the same, or how are you looking at markets today?
Yeah, I'm looking at markets the same. But one thing that I've changed is I used to sit at a computer and just take trades throughout the day. I would look for setups, get on at nighttime, get on London session, and get back on, at the New York session, and try all these things. And finally, I was like, you know what? I'm going to trade live with my crew. So for the last 8 months, the last 8 months now, I've been trading live every single morning. We jump on. We just trade the New York Open, stay on for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then we shut it down. And I just like being able to get in the trade, get the volume, hit the move, and be done for the day.
So what are you trading nowadays?
US 30.
Mostly? Or is that exclusively, or are you trading other stuff?
100% US 30.
Okay.
Nothing else, man. I still do my markups for my group. So like last night, I did just Forex pair markups, which turned out to be a crazy night. I marked up, I think, 19 Forex pairs, and we caught 680 something pips between all of them. So
what? Well, how long of a stream was this?
Dude, it was a good night. Do what?
Like, did you do this all on one call on one stream, or did you like send these out during the week?
Yeah, I just sent them out last night. I can show you right here on my phone. I mark them up, and I have this channel called Andy's Markups. So, I mean, you can see right there on the screen, they're just my markups, and I sent everything out. And that was last night. And then here's all the updates on it. So as of this morning, everything had hit including US 30, we were at 583 pips. And at the end of the day, we ended up with close to 1,213 pips between US 30 and the Forex pairs. So
that's amazing. So the fact that you can trade both, like, it's really just, it goes to show that you're focusing on one out of preference, but you can trade all the rest. Do you have a certain strategy that works on all of them, or do you use a different strategy on each pair?
Man, I draw a line across the screen, and I say if it crosses that line, I'm taking the trade.
I love it. All right. So do you have any thoughts on the overall market today, like US 30 specifically, stocks? Do you have any idea of kind of what's happening today?
Man, it's messed up. I mean, it's, I've never, I say it's messed up. The fundamentals of what I look at has been completely off, all year, because we have good news goes up one day. We have good news, it goes down one day. We have bad news goes. I mean, it's so wishy-washy back and forth. Sure. That I just quit even looking at the market as a whole, trying to predict what it was going to do. And I said, I'm just going to react. And that's the reason I just stuck with trend line breaks and zone breaks. It's like, if it's going to break this trend, it's going to go that direction. If it breaks this trend and doesn't go the direction, I'm closing the trade out, and I'll wait till it does what I want it to do. So I mean, that's all. I just been reacting to the charts and not trying to mark it up and saying, okay, I predict that it's going here. Be prepared to take partials here and do this. It's like, no, this is a trend line. If it breaks my trend, we're taking sells. If it breaks this trend, we're taking buys.
Are you still holding trades, or are you sort of taking like an in and out approach because the market conditions are so choppy?
Yeah, so I do hold my trades and protect basically at break even. And as soon as it gets back to a point of where I would see like support and resistance, I'll shave off partials. So I'll take, like, say I take a standard on US 30, then I'll close that down and leave, a 0.5 left over, after it gets done. Or if you're trading $10 a pip, do 0.05 and then just protect the entry itself. That way I'm still taking some profits off the table, but I have a runner per se.
I mean, that's good to know. I'm kind of doing the same thing in my trading, which is every time I'm trying to take a specific trend in the market, any news will just sort of break it back. So I'm doing more like shorter time frame trading. You're big into cryptos. So how are you looking at cryptos nowadays? Are you trading any cryptos, or are you just investing?
Yeah, I mean, just investing. A lot of the things that I'm looking at is still long-term. So one that is really big on my radar right now is Suku, SUKU. I'm heavy in that thing. I mean, stupid heavy. It's trading at like, I think last night it was in the 30-something cent range. Prediction for that one, it's had some good ups and downs. So, I mean, it went to like $1.60, It went to like $1.80. I would think it went above $2 for a bit. So, I mean, my prediction on that one will be, $2.30-40 to hold up. And then $3 to $3.50 in the long run.
Wow. That's what is that, 4 or 5x from where it is now?
Yeah, I mean, right now, for if it gets to $1, that'll be roughly 3.5x. So
Okay.
if it gets to $3, I mean, you're talking 11 to 12x.
Right. So are you entering any new spaces in the crypto world like NFTs, or are you strictly just holding your coins and seeing this wave
Yeah,
out?
so I mean, I'm still holding all of my original coins that I had from years past, just because I firmly believe in cryptocurrency. So I've not been doing any flips with Bitcoin, Ethereum, any of that stuff. Like my coins I've had for years, not touching. Stuff like the Suku, Pancake Swap and all of them. I've been flipping them here and there where I see a nice push up. And then I'm in the NFT space. I mean, I was in NFT space, for about 3.5-4 years ago, when everyone thought it was just another fad coming in. And I personally didn't take it serious. I mean, I'll admit that. I was the same way. It's like, I don't think this is going to do anything. And then before you know it, as soon as the celebrities started jumping on board and really promoting it, stuff just took off. And people were like, bro, you need to get in this NFT thing. Have you heard of it? And I was like, yeah, I heard of it like 4 years ago. I have NFTs I bought 4 years ago. So I've got into that space. I probably have, I'd say maybe 60 to 70 NFT. No, more than that, because I did the alpha project. I probably have about 100 NFTs, give or take, on the Ethereum side of things. And I probably got 250 to 300 on the Solana side of things.
Sheesh.
I've been working more though on projects. So I've got a really good team of artists and people that have been doing a lot of work. So from smart contracts to artists to website development to the coding. So basically now I'm helping people with NFT projects. So if someone wants to do an NFT project, they hit me up and I'm the one-stop shop, whether it's on the Ethereum side or a Solana side. And then my team just gets to work and does it. So that's kind of where I'm at in the space with it. I like that better than actually purchasing and selling and trying to flip. It's like, look, I'll just help you build your project. And
what do you think is important?
NFT.
What's important for people who are looking to develop a project? What's like some of the most important things they should be paying attention to? Is it security? Is it the community? Is it the art? Like, what would you tell them as like the first step they should be paying attention to?
So like let's say you're an artist, the first thing you need to look at is what is your utility for it. So let's say you're an artist that does paintings. People are not going to buy your NFT because they want access to you. More or less, they're going to buy your NFT because they want to showcase the art that they're already buying from you that's maybe a physical piece. If you're an artist as far as like a musician, then obviously what access do they have to you? Are you going to give them a sneak peek to an album? Are you going to drop certain tracks that only NFT holders hold? So like there's a project I'm working on for an artist out of Atlanta. And the idea that we have is whenever he drops his new album, unless you're an NFT holder, you're not going to get, some of the extra tracks that he's putting out. Those will go up to NFT holders.
Like I've always wondered how that works. I heard artists say, I'm going to release my album as an NFT. What does that mean? Does that mean I buy an NFT and like I get access to a website, or what does that really mean?
So they code the website to where you have to log in with your wallet. So like, let's say it was on the Ethereum blockchain, you've got your MetaMask. When you go to their website, you would have to log in with your MetaMask, and they would have to go and check to make sure that you actually hold that NFT. And if you do, boom, it lets you in their website.
That's kind of crazy.
That's what I did with my NFT. My NFT, the Dropout Kids, that's what I did with it. I made 23 NFTs, and I think they all sold out, or there might be like 1 or 2 left out there. And that's how it works. It's like for them to get access to events that I'm doing, for them to get access to certain parts of my Discord, they have to hold my NFT. So if they hold my NFT, when they go to the Discord, they have to verify it. They link their Phantom wallet to it. And when they do, now they have special privileges within the Discord that other members don't have. So that's the utility with mine. So then like, if you hold my NFT, I've got other accessories coming to that NFT. So like I've got a champagne bottle that's going to be released here within probably the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Your own champagne?
Well, it's a champagne bottle and an NFT.
Okay.
If you own the champagne bottle of NFT, you'll be placed in a part of the Discord for when I host a party or when I'm going out for a party. And the only way you have access to my parties is if you hold that champagne bottle, and everything's free. So like the food's free, the drink's free, everything's free. And then I'll have a celebrity artist there as kind of like a special guest. Well, then we have one that's going to be like a dinner plate. And if you hold the dinner plate, you know, anytime that we go out to big dinners or anything like that, you're invited to it. You know, you go on it, it's limited to like 10 people at a time, and you can't go to the same one back to back. So that way, you know, it allows other NFT holders to be part of that.
Wow. This is all for the dropout kids?
Yeah, all for the dropout kids, because that way,
Awesome.
I mean, think about it. We go out and eat dinner 3 times a week, and we eat at some really nice restaurants. So typically if a person comes to eat dinner there, if it's a one person, they're probably going to spend, you know, 80 to 90 bucks. If they get a few drinks, they're going to spend $120. So if you joined us, if we went out to dinner, just say twice a month, that's 240 bucks that you're getting to eat and drink free. And in a year's time, that's going to
add up. That's going to add up for sure.
$3,000.
And the experience is priceless. You can't really put a price on a great night with people that you respect and people that you actually want to spend time with. So that's really cool.
And on the flip side of that, people are like, well, why would you do that if it's going to cost you more money to feed them and give them drinks than you would actually make off the NFT? And I was like, one, it creates a social environment and a community amongst ourselves, which is huge. And I was like, and two, you've got to think of long term. So when people are doing these NFTs and they're like, oh, this is only a half of an Ethereum. Well, what happens when Ethereum gets to $20,000? Half an Ethereum.
It matters.
Yep. So the people, and that's what people don't understand. They're like, why would they sell this NFT and host a party where they're going to lose money? It's like, what you don't understand is they're selling you this NFT to build more of the cryptocurrency.
Kind of like, since we're still on this NFT topic, if you guys stick around, we're going to talk about which crypto picks Andy recommends. Well, real quick, if we're still on the NFT topic, you said that you hold some Ethereum and some Solana. Do you have a preference? Do you have pros and cons of each? How do you think about those?
Yeah, man, I love obviously all the heavy hitters are going to be on, you know, the Ethereum network. That's where all the heavy hitters are at the moment. I hate the gas prices. I hate, you know, all that mess. I think the Solana network, when they can get through their backlog of, you know, processing transactions, it's going to be a heavy hitter. I mean, it's so fast, man. Like I could send you $1,000 of Solana right now, and you're going to have it in like 15 seconds. It's instant. And the fees for me to send it to you are next to nothing.
For sure.
So like, I absolutely love Solana. For me personally, that's all I accept now. If someone messages me and they're like, hey, I want to book you for a one-on-one, send me Solana.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
I want to book you for an event, you know, send me Sol. Like that's all I'm accepting right now. And I mean, this is coming from someone who's heavy in Bitcoin and Ethereum. I just feel like it's so easy. I've been out with friends and they're like, hey man, I'm gonna go to the store and buy a few bottles. Do you have any cash on you? And I'm like, I don't. Here, I'll just send you some Sol. They pull up their wallet, I send it to it. It's like boom, instant, low fees. Everyone should be using it.
Solana development team, if you guys hear this and are listening, we would love for you to sponsor this podcast. And we're huge fans. Thank you for creating an environment for developers and for users that's low cost and high efficiency, because that's really what crypto is all about. So Andy, talk to me about, do you recommend that traders do anything different in this environment now? I know you talked about what you were doing differently, but traders today who haven't really experienced something like this, where the market's just going up, it's going down, they can't seem to find a sense of direction. Do you have any tips for those traders?
Yeah, don't get caught up in the noise. You know, have your way of trading, get in the move and get out of the move. Don't try to say, I'm going to catch the bottom. I'm going to try to catch the top, because that doesn't exist. You know, I hear people say all the time, oh, I got a sniper entry, and they're showing me a 1-minute chart. It's like, you don't have a sniper entry. Go look at the 30-minute.
Right.
Sniper entry was at the top. And then, go look at the 4-hour. You know, so it's like, it doesn't exist. The only sniper entry we have is if you look at the weekly chart and you got in your sell at the top of the weekly, or you got in your buy at the bottom of the weekly. It's like, there's no such thing anymore as that, because the way the market has went and we've ranged and we've moved, you're just taking your entries based on what you're looking at. So it's like, if you are an intraday trader, get in your trade. At the end of the day, take your profits. You know, if you're a swing trader, get in your trade, protect your entry. If you're in profit, let it run for, however long you want to. Set goals, close it out. Don't get this mentality of, sniper entries, because what I see so much is people have sniper entries and then they have a horrible, horrible exit. Like, yeah, there's people that know how to take a trade, but there's people who don't know how to exit them to save their life. And the exit's the most important part, because that's where you put your money in your wallet.
Do you predetermine your exits? When you take a trade, do you usually play it by ear as it hits levels, or do you tell yourself, look, once it gets to this level, I'm out no matter what? How do you usually play?
Yeah, so I do kind of pre-plan it. If you look at my Instagram story today, we were in sales from last night on US 30, and I drew a gray box of where I was like, if it hits this, I want it to go here, I'm going to close out of my trades. And, sure enough, it hit it, and I closed out my trades, because that's just a rule that I have. Now, granted, could that have been a dumb move? Yeah, I mean, on the daily, I was really at the top of where it's been retesting. So if it fell another 500 pips, I mean, I'm going to lose what, like 18K, but at the same time, I can find that entry again if it's going to go down. So I'm not too worried about it. I like taking my money off the table. No one went broke taking their profits.
There we go. Andy, do you trade every day? This is just out of curiosity for me.
I do not. I try to trade at least, 1 to 2 days a week just to stay fresh on it. But I'm not going to lie. I mean, there's been sometimes I've went 2 or 3 weeks without trading because we've been traveling. And if I'm traveling, internet may not be great. If we're at an Airbnb and we've got 30 or 40 people there with one Wi-Fi hotspot, you can forget taking trades, So there's times where I don't take a trade because I look at the market's always going to be here. It's not going anywhere. There's always going to be moves. And I think people get caught up in this. If I don't trade, I'm going to miss the big move. If I don't trade, I'm going to lose money. If I don't trade, I'm not making money. And it's like that mentality will cause you to go broke. Enjoy life. Enjoy getting out. The charts are always going to be here,
Why do you feel like people have that feeling of constantly needing to trade? I've asked a few traders on the podcast this. It's always interesting hearing the perspective. Why do you feel like people need to trade all the time?
I mean, a lot of people feel the need to trade because they feel the need to make more money. And a lot of people are relying on trading every day to pay their bills. I mean, there's a lot of traders who will say, man, if I don't make, $500 a day, I can't pay my bills this month. Or I need to make $700 a day to be able to afford X, Y, and Z. And for me, it's never been that way. It's like, I'm going to trade because I have fun and the market looks like it's going to give me a good move. Yeah, I think people are just trying to chase the money instead of just having fun with it. And I think, Q has said it best. Q's like, I look for my setup, I take the trade, I get in, I get out, take my profits off the table, and I'm good. I don't have to sit at a computer every day. And then that goes hand in hand with what Anthony says, where he's like, I don't live my life to sit at a computer and trade. I sit at a computer and trade where I can live my life. I get in, get out, make my money, and go out here and just live. So
there we go. Don't live to trade, trade to live. That's awesome. So you're going to be speaking at the FX Summit. I'm pretty excited.
I am?
No, yes, sir. So if you guys don't know, we're hosting a conference in Miami, May 13th through the 15th. If you haven't already grabbed your tickets, go ahead to the link below. But Andy is going to be one of the guest speakers on the FX trading panel. And so we're going to have a few of your favorite guests from the ExpertTrader podcast up on stage together, talking about a few things that they haven't revealed before. So are you excited, Andy?
Man, I'm excited. Getting on a stage like that in front of those people, you're going to have people that are sitting in the audience who are really good traders who don't even care what someone has to say. And then you're going to have those people that are there because they want to hear your story. They want to kind of get a feel of who you are as a person, kind of how you look at trading. What has trading done for you? So when I go to these events, which I mean, this is my first time ever at the FX Summit event, but I've spoken at many, many events. And when I speak at them, it's normally like someone's holding an event for motivational speakers, or someone's holding an event that's geared towards cryptocurrency and the stock market. And I tell everyone, I don't go there to get you like hyped up to jump on your phone and start taking trades because I'm telling you a strategy or showing you a strategy. I want people to see there's a different way to live life. I want people to see that I don't have to do what I've been told my entire life, and it's taking time away from my wife. or it's taking time away from my husband and my kids, or it's stressing me out. Like there's a different way to live this life. I mean, obviously there's a different way to live this life other than trading. There's people who make amazing livings being plumbers, electricians, concrete work, different types of trade work. I mean, I've got a buddy who owns a plumbing company, and he's had like 5 supercars, in the last year, so it's like, it's all in the vision of who's sitting in that chair. And if I can just spark something in their head to say, wow, I can live this life different, then bam, mission accomplished.
For sure. I think that the inspiration is something that people take for granted. They're like, well, I kind of want to learn a strategy or whatever. The inspiration of hearing from someone like, Andy, I see you spend time with your family, like seriously. So you mentioned all these other trades that can make you money, but which one is giving you time back? And that's something that I really feel like people need to hear, because most people grow up with this idea that you have to work for money and there's only one track to do things. And I think the reality of it is like seeing you in person and seeing that this is real is really going to be that clicking point for folks to maybe say that they can do it too. So that's what I'm excited about.
And I'll have my wife and kids with me. I'm ready for them to come and meet people meet my wife, and then us go out afterwards and party the night away, and then just get to see because this is going to be the first time a lot of people are ever in that environment. I'm thinking about this. They're going to be in a room. They're going to be at a VIP party with the likes of, Q, Anthony, Ron, Alex, Raul,
Jason,
the list
everybody
goes on. Yeah. I mean, dude, the list goes on of all these people they're going to be in a room with. And then they're going to be like, wow, like these dudes are cool.
Yeah.
They're just guys hanging out, not to forget the women that are going to be there as well. It's like, this is crazy. It's like, that's what I want people to understand is, we look at these other traders and we see them in their cars and their houses, and we're like, wow, like that's crazy. We're almost like celebrity status.
Right. Or higher. Some people don't even think it's human. Like, I was like, oh, these people are like supernatural.
There will be people in our group at these events that have more money than your celebrities. There's going to be people at these VIP parties.
Andy's talking about himself, y'all.
That make more money than what some of your lead actors are being paid to be in a movie. And then it's like, these are normal dudes hanging out, chilling. So I think when people see that, it makes it seem, it shows them it can be a realistic goal for them. For sure. That this is obtainable, and it is. And I tell people, think about the small numbers. $500 a day is $10,000 a month. $500 a day on US 30 is absolutely nothing. I can push a button and catch $500 on US 30 in like 15
seconds.
Minutes.
50. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a good day where we've got volume, like the other day we had an 88 pip candle, 1 minute candle. Yeah. That 1 minute candle for me was like a $3,200 move. So it's like, it's so easy. And we kind of get caught up, like you said, we look at the Anthony's, the Q's, even myself at times, and other people that put out those big numbers. And then we're like, wow, we have to obtain such a lot. Like Q made $107,000 today, or $110,000. It's like, when you think of that, you're like, wow, how am I ever going to obtain that? It's like, you can get there with time and practice, but just focus on making $500 a day. And that's 10K a month. 10K a month is good money. That's 6 figures a year. That's
more than most folks are making. I did see you in an IG live, and you were kind of talking about how some folks were embarrassed to send in profits because maybe they don't think it's big enough. And it was kind of like a reminder message to folks that like, you got to start somewhere. And don't be embarrassed, because pulling money out of the markets is still the whole goal of this. So would you mind kind of like repeating that message to folks?
Yeah. So that all kind of started too with this year. So since January 18th, I've been resetting my account every single week. So every single Sunday, however much is in my account, I take it out and start back with a $10,000 account. And that's all I trade. At the end of the week, if it's at 18,000, I take out $8,000, leave it at 10. At the end of the week, if it's at 30,000, I take out 20, leave it at 10. And I started doing that because someone having a $10,000 account is more obtainable than someone trading $100,000 or $500,000 account.
For sure.
$10,000 means you're trading a funded $100,000 account, essentially. So I was like, if I can go out here and trade, own my lives, with a $10,000 account. And then they see where I just made $7,000 here, 5,000 here, 3,000 here, flipped it to, $36,000 in a week. They're like, wow. And I'm watching you do this live. I'm literally watching you on a Zoom trade live. It makes it more obtainable.
100%.
And that's why I tell people, don't be afraid to show your profits to people, because guys, $25, that means you won a trade. $100 win means you had $100 win. Guess what? You keep up $100 win consistently for a whole week, bro, you're making $2K a month.
For sure.
And then all you got to do is get used to increasing your lot size. And that turns into 3K, 4K, 10K. Like, you just keep building. That's it.
A lot of folks are getting funded accounts now, and they're doing the funded challenges. You said something really interesting, which is that you don't actually get the full 100K. You're getting 10K, whatever the maximum risk is. Can you talk about that a little bit before we jump into this?
Yeah, so it's a misconception. When people get a $100,000 account, they're like, well, I've got $100,000 to trade, so I'm going to risk 10% of the account every day. So if they risk 10% of the account every day, that means you're risking $10,000. Well, you can't do that, because your maximum drawdown is 5%, which is $5,000 per day, or maximum loss or drawdown. And then if you lose $10,000 of the $100,000, you don't pass the account or you lose the account. So actually you have a $10,000 trading account. And even when you pass and get funded, you still only have a $10,000 account. If you had a $100,000 account, it means you could take your equity down to $60,000, $70,000 and build it back. But you can't. You'll fail the challenge.
So you only have a 10K account, not the 100K.
That's all you have. That's it. There's never a $100,000 funded account, because if that was the case, you wouldn't be cut off at $90,000.
Is funded trading, this is like, I'm just going on tangents here. Is funded trading, is it like a personality thing? Like, I've seen some incredible traders try funded accounts and just not be able to do the risk parameters. And I've seen some like pretty decent traders, like that are all right, be able to go through it because they can stick to the risk parameters. Do you think it's a personality thing, or is this like a discipline thing?
It's both. It's personality and discipline. And I mean, just to go on the record, I love funded accounts for people who need them and who understand what they're trading. If people have a $200,000 funded account, and they realize I only have a $20,000 funded account, and they take risk off the $20,000, they can continue to grow that. But if you're trading a $20,000 account, like you have $200,000, you're going to blow that account.
Okay, for sure.
All day. There's no way around it.
Well, for sure. So like trading, I've actually been doing something very similar to you. I've actually been funding a certain sized account with my unregulated broker. And I've just been running it to whatever it is, and then withdrawing it and bringing it back down to the original balance, and just doing that weekly. Like, have you personally ever traded funded? Do you have a preference over either one?
Yeah, I mean, I traded funded when FTMO like first started kind of kicking off, just to give it a try to see what it was about, and to see, how they traded, how the broker moved. And I mean, when I got done, I was like, I could see how people could do this, but it didn't make sense to me. It's like, I have my own capital. So if I have my own capital, why wouldn't I trade it and have full control over everything, to where if I want to hold trades longer, I can. I mean, which some funded programs allow you to hold trades, market close and all that stuff. But it's like, I just like having control of my money. If I make $10,000, I want $10,000, because you don't understand how quick that 20% adds up. For every $10,000 you make, you're losing 2K. So if you made $10,000 every month, at the end of the year, you lost $24,000 you had to give back to the funded company. That's a chunk of money.
But at the same time, you could also say that you're not using your own capital. Do you think that's a plus or a minus for folks?
So, I mean, I don't know. I kind of like the whole capital deal of your own, just because I like having control of it.
That makes sense.
I recommend, people ask me all the time, what funded broker you recommend? It's like, man, top tier. I know the guys at top tier. I can vouch for them. They're not going to run away with your money. They're not going to close up shop. Like they're actually good people. But for me, it's like if you've got $10,000 to $20,000, trade.
For sure.
Simple as that. You know.
Big shout out. Sorry, just real quick. Big shout out to Top Tier Trader, who is sponsoring the FX Summit. So for all of your proprietary trading needs, you guys know who to go to. Traders today are dealing with a lot of confusion and a lot of noise, probably more noise than ever. Is there any tips that you have for folks to distinguish noise from signal, from like really being able to see quality information on charts, being able to like follow quality people, and just really getting rid of some of the noise? Is there any tricks that you use to be able to keep yourself?
Yeah, silence your social media. That's what I do. I have all my notifications turned off for social media altogether because even myself, I'll get in a trade and I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, this is a solid trade. And then I jump online, check messages or send a message out. And then you'll see that, this trader is in a completely opposite direction than the trade you're in. You're like, dang, he's a really good trader.
Yeah.
Going opposite. And then you start second guessing yourself. And I mean, I've done it a ton. And it's like, man, I don't even need to pay attention to that right now. I don't need to see the notifications. I don't even need to be on social media. People are in a lot of different groups too, I think. And I think the quality of groups matter. Like if it's your group, the quality is great. I can vouch for that. If you're in Trader Society's group and you've got someone like Derek and Grant and those guys sending their chart markups, you're in good hands. There's so many good groups. I think, doesn't Alex have a group too or something like that?
Alex G? FX Alex G? Yeah, he does.
I think he has one. So, I mean, when you basically, guys, everyone that's going to be at the FX Summit that's a speaker, be part of their groups. But there's a lot of just random signal groups and random Telegram groups that start up because they're like, oh, $19 a month. People are like, oh, I want to sign up for that one. And I want to sign up for this one. And when you've got 20 or 30 groups you're part of, that's a lot of noise. That's a ton. So it's like, stick with a group and you're going to win. If you stick with just your group, you're going to win. If you stick with Trader Society, live their markups, you're going to win. If you stick with my group, you're going, like, those things are going to be there. Now we're going to have losses. But we're all going to lose together. We're all going to win together. There's a lot of these people who are ghosts on the internet having these Telegram groups that don't even care what you're doing. And guess what, guys? They're trading on demo accounts. They've never traded a live account in their life. They're not taking the trades with you.
Call them out.
Dude, I'll do it all day. It's called demo money. Like, I can't stand it. I'm watching people right now. I got a screenshot from a kid a while back. I'll say a while back, like 2.5, 3 weeks ago. And he was like, bro, I just had the best mentor call in my life, yada, yada, yada. Some dude out of Florida, not like in Miami, Florida area. I think he's in Tampa. And he's charging like $1,000 to mentor these guys and show them trade markups. And I started doing some digging. And I'm like, this dude's never traded a real account, I don't think. So I start looking at the guy's Instagram of all the stories that he posts up. And you can tell it's a demo account by the contract number. Because you see what broker he's on.
Right. And when you see the first digits of the broker.
It's like, bro, you're trading a demo account and you're selling your services as you're an actual trader. So then I started, digging around more because it's like he took money from a friend of mine and talked to people that knew him. And they were like, bro, the guy's never made a dime in his life. Like, he's still working his day job. And I'm like, I admire the hustle all day. But if you're not a successful trader yourself, or you've never made any money in the crypto space or Forex space, you should not be giving out signals. You should not be giving out chart markups. You shouldn't be doing anything like that because people are going to take it. And now you're messing with the money that they've made that's real money on a real account, because they're not going to take your signals on a demo account.
People at home need to understand that not everyone who's calling signals or chart markups, who gets it right every once in a while, is a trader. Trading is more than just chart markups. Trading is risk management. Trading is money management. This whole conversation that me and Andy just had about entry kings versus exit kings. Shout out to Jason for those terms. But those,
dude, I love that. That's got to be a shirt.
Yeah. Jason's the guy. He knows. If you're listening to this, brother, you already know what to do.
That's got to be a shirt.
But a lot of folks need to understand that trading is not just, okay, a few folks in the group are sending technical markups, or people are sending like like screenshots of like 3 trades that they have open, profits, whatever, like this demo stuff in these group chats. You guys really need to understand that trading is lasting for the long term. I know
Yep.
Andy understands this more than anybody. You come from like a lineage of
Yep.
markets and market participants. You know, lasting in the markets is more important than trying to make a quick buck. And I think that that's the most important thing traders today need to realize is like, you're in this for the longer term. And the folks that are really trying to teach you and do this right are trying to keep you here for the long term. We're not
Yep. And
advertising
that's
full
why,
margin. We're not advertising those things. It's really the responsible trading.
and that's something that I kind of admired a lot about Q. And you'll hear me bring up Q a lot because I mean Q's obviously the reason I even knew what Forex was. And he would post his withdrawals. And it's like, to me, that's the most important part. Like, we can post how much money we've made all day or how much this trade made us. But until it's in your bank account, it's not your money. Yeah. I mean, it's like, I mean, I've made what, probably 20 or 30 withdrawals this year. I haven't showed all of them, but I've showed a handful to show people that I am pulling money out. I have made money. You know, this is what I do. And it just, you can't fake a withdrawal. Like, and I think with so many scammers that are out there, I mean, you've seen how many scammers are profiles trying to pretend to be me, Q, Anthony, everyone. You know, it's like in a world of scammers, I think that's the one thing that, you know, people are like, wow, he just made a withdrawal. So I mean, like when Q showed his big withdrawal that time, it was like, whoa, that's real money.
There's nothing like proof. There's really nothing like proof. When folks are looking like today we're in a different place than we were 7 months ago. 7 months ago, the community was like really growing and it was thriving. Now today, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of scammer pages. There's a lot of things like that. How do you see folks really like, where do you see this space going? Just kind of want to get your take on this.
Man, it's going to get nasty for a bit. I mean, just because so many people are getting scammed, you know, people are, hey, join this group, join that group. Hey, I'm a Forex trader. You know, it's the typical, they saw quickly how fast the movement was within the market. And now it's the cool thing to be. You know, I mean, even in town where I live, every single day I go somewhere, someone walks up to me and they're like, hey, Andy, what's up? You know, and I'm like, hey, man, good. Day's going amazing. How are you? And they're like, dude, did you hear about so-and-so? He just started trading. He made like 30K last week. And I'm like, pretty cool. They're like, yeah, bro, he opened up like an account and just made 30K. And it's like, that's cool. Like, I'm proud of him. And you constantly hear this all the time. And then you know the people, and then you talk to them. They're like, well, bro, I really didn't make it. Like, it was just, you know, demo account. I just showed the friends because I wanted to, you know, make them think I was a trader. And it's like, it's come such a cool thing to do, being a trader, so to speak, that it's just saturated with so many people who think they're the next best thing, you know? And it's like, there's only a handful of those people. And I don't even consider myself a handful of those people because, dude, there's kids in this game that are crushing it. I mean, there's people in this game driving Bugattis and living in $10 million houses, and, you know, they've got $20 million yachts. And it's like, that's crushing it.
All right, Andy, if you don't want to give yourself enough credit, I'm going to go ahead and be the one to do it for you. All right. So you're crushing it too. Like you said in the earlier conversation, this is not a competition. What you're doing, the way that you're going about trading, the lifestyle you're showing, the way you're getting your kids involved in trading, you're doing something so unique that there really isn't any competition. Now, to the folks at home, the people that listen to this podcast are that little percentage that actually want to be at that next level. So is there any advice you really want to give to folks, like honest advice on what they should do to really get their trading to the next level?
Yeah, make sure their life is right first. That's something I speak constantly of all the time. If you, and this sounds so cliche because it goes with everything, but like, if you're married and you and your wife don't have a good relationship, you're going to be a crappy trader. If you've got kids and you don't have a good relationship with your kids, you're going to be a crappy trader. If you're unhappy with yourself, you're in a bad mental state, you're going to be a crappy trader. The reason I say all that stuff aligns is because the better you feel in your house where you're trading, the better you and your wife are together, the better you are with your kids. You have this, you know, feeling of, you know, empowerment and joy, and it makes you feel good to be on the charts, you know. And I think that's just an important piece is You have to be right with yourself, because trading will break you down mentally harder than anything. And if you already have issues with your spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend, kids, it's going to cause you to snap. It's going to cause you not to be a good person. I've watched relationships being ruined over trading because they start yelling at someone, they start getting mad, and it's like the wife did nothing, but she didn't know you just blew an account and you were pissed off. It wasn't her fault you blew the account. You should have been part of my group, but I'm not kidding. But it's like, it's those types of things that I say, get your life right before you even jump on the charts, you know?
Great
and then
advice.
Then you just feel good. And then when you get on the charts, open up your mind to learn. Willingness to learn is huge. People have to be willing to learn. There's too many people that get on the charts with an ego. You know, they get on the chart and they're like, oh, I'm a bodybuilder, or I'm a professional athlete, or, you know, I'm the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. And because they have that status outside of the charts, they think they're going to come on the charts and murder it. No one's going to be better than them, only to find out the chart doesn't care who you are. The markets don't care what status you have. It will murder you. Like it will break you down. I've watched one of my buddies who has been working in finances for a Fortune 100 company for years. And bro, he lost $500,000 in like 2 months. His background is finances for a company for like, I think 8 or 9 years. And when
trading is a different beast. Trading is a very different beast.
It brought him down to a level that humbled him. And that's where I say, so you've got to be acceptable and willing to learn from kids, from people who have already been through what you've been through, from the people who tell you what not to do and then how to do it. And then you can mold it into what you want it to be once you become profitable. Once you see that you're profitable, you can start finding your niche in the market in how you trade, what works for you. And that's really it. We're back again.
Look, man. Oh, and it's already recording. Wow. We're doing Joe Rogan style. We're just jumping right into this thing. Andy was giving us his final thoughts and some really good tips for traders. It's really focus on yourself. Don't try to play outside of your own lane. Don't try to compare yourself to other people, and just try to stick to a specific strategy that works for you. Andy, I have 2 quick fire round questions for you before we head off, before this connection gets crazy. Can you give people your crypto picks for the year?
Man, I'm glad you asked me because I have them saved right here. Because I was sitting here, I was like, you know what? Roy's going to ask me. So I need to give him what I'm kind of looking at. Keep in mind that this is just strictly me, you know, kind of looking at the chart saying, I kind of like where this one's at. I think it's a good opportunity. So let me find it here in my messages because I saved it just for our meeting. There it is.
So I'm going to go take a bank loan out and put it into whatever project Andy has next.
So Dent, still big on Dent. When we first did our first podcast, I think I may have mentioned Dent. It ended up going 14,830%.
Wow.
After our first podcast we had.
All right. Well, I'm keeping that in mind for whatever you say next.
It came back down, but it was an amazing cash out. But I'm still heavy in that one. Dent is one of my most favorites. Obviously, Cake is at a good price right now. It's came down a ton. So I think Cake's a good one. Suku is number 1, hands down. SUKU, Suku is number 1. They've got some partnerships right now they're working on that could be big deals in the crypto space, like massive.
All right. Well, you guys heard it here first. I'm going to have the shirt next time I see you with the Suku. I made 6 figures off the trade, and I'm going to come back and thank you for that for sure.
Crow, CRO, real big on Crow. They're actually signing a deal with FIFA, which is really big. I think they had an announcement today. Outside of that, Wilder World, I still love Wild. I love what they're trying to do with the metaverse on their end. And then probably the last one I'm going to go with is, I don't have one on my list, but I'm trying to think if I could give you one more. I'm going to throw Band out there.
Okay.
Band. I'm going to throw Band out.
All right. David, while you're editing this, make sure you clip this part out and send it to me. Andy, I have one last question for you. Why should folks go get a ticket to the FX Summit 2022 conference in Miami?
The better question is, why wouldn't they? Like, I mean, there's so many good people there. It's from being able to hear the people speak, from being able to go in the actual room where you've got all the tents, I say tents, all the conferences and all this stuff. You're going to be able to shake hands with the people that you double tap their photos on Instagram and you've seen their life unfold in front of you. The VIP parties, I think, is where it's truly at, because it's going to be in people's element. Because here's the thing, while we love talking to people and we love being on stage and backstage with everyone, that's still not everyone's element, because we're just normal people. So when you're going out at nighttime where we're eating dinner, we're getting a couple of drinks in this,
the food,
that's where you're going to see us in our true and rarest form. And, you know, I mean, yeah, you don't want to be that person that goes up to Q or Anthony and is like, hey, what do you think about this trade on my phone? You know, it's more or less going to allow you to see how we interact, what we talk about, shake hands, and then the knowledge, guys. I mean, if to get every one of us in one room for 3 days to be able to talk to, you know, just hear our stories on our end, that could change your life. I mean, it truly could change your life. And, you know, I heard something the other day that was posted. I actually shared it on Instagram. I loved it. It said, billionaires lose millions to become billionaires. Millionaires lose thousands to become millionaires. If you're not investing money into yourself, who's going to do it, and how are you going to get there? I know friends personally who go out every weekend and spend $150 to $200 on food and drinks, but yet they'll even message me. They're like, hey, I want to be part of your community. How much is it? And I'm like, I mean, to be part of my community is going to cost you like, you know, $10 a day. Yeah, I'm not doing that. That's $70 a week. It's like, but you're spending.
You're going to spend it anyways. You might as well invest it back into yourself.
Yeah. And what you're spending it on is just to go out, eat, party, feel good. And then you're going to go flush it down the toilet.
Yep.
Like, invest in something that's going to build yourself, or any community for that, or any mentorship. So with this event that Roy's putting on, if you're not spending the money to be part of this, I mean, I can't even.
You guys are going to get a chance to come. You guys will get a chance to come meet me. You'll get a chance to come meet Andy and some of the biggest traders in the game. And he wasn't lying when he said to get those folks in the same room and to learn from their stories, that ticket's not cheap. And so,
and I'm doing something crazy for this event that I've not even told you yet.
Okay. Well, I like surprises that I like, you know, surprises that we don't like are called problems, Andy.
So here's how it goes. I'm showing up at the event. Obviously, I'll have on all my Pip Connect gear and all that stuff. I'm walking around with 200 business cards that have a QR code that's going to allow them free access into my community.
Whoa.
For a whole year.
Whoa, you guys heard it.
For a whole year.
You guys heard it.
That's $3,600 per card I'm giving out. And let me look to make sure we're doing 200 cards. I'm giving out $720,000 worth of memberships.
Ladies and gentlemen, grab your tickets to the FX Summit 2022 conference in the link below. Andy, I can't wait to see you there. I can't wait to see you speak on stage. And at the beginning of this call, you said that you felt like you were not qualified on that last podcast. I knew from the second we did the first podcast together that you were legit and that you belonged on that stage. I appreciate you making it out to that event. And thanks for getting on the podcast again.
Dude, I greatly appreciate you. And one thing that I do want to do with you coming up is I want us to go on an Instagram live and just have an open talk about politics, trading, life, money, and just have fun with it.
Let's do it. And I'll give away some NFTs on that IG live.
Bro, let's
make it happen.
Roy, I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Thanks for the opportunity to be on your podcast. Thank you for, inviting me on stage at the FX Summits. I literally just got goosebumps saying that because, again, you were the first person in the community that ever reached out to me and said, let's get you on a podcast. And it all took off from there. So I appreciate you, and I can't wait for the FX Summit, bro.
Of course, brother. Just know, if you guys are listening out there, if you're a great trader and you're really meant to do this, and you're just an incredible person, I will find you. Wherever you're at, I will find you.
Amen to that.
Andy, great to have you on. Take it easy, brother.
You too, brother. You too, bro.